while back, my daughter brought a letter home from school that said that there was a student in her class that got agitated, basically, when a certain color was in the classroom. The color red did not agree with the student, so the school was asking that for the rest of the year that the students in this class not wear the color red. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Not too long later, she comes home and says, well, yeah, that same student, he apparently is not allowed to eat candy and cookies anymore. So they've made this rule for our class that we are not allowed to bring candy and cookies to school anymore because he's not allowed to have. I'm like, okay, all right. Seems like we're making a lot of rules for one student in the class, but okay. Next, she comes home and tells me that, yeah, that student he was really having a hard time with math. So our teacher has adjusted the math for all of us. So now we're going to have a lower, we're going to have a lower level of math. Okay. Then I hear that the parents had gotten upset that the administration at the school was being hard on this student, trying to work with them and come up with a plan for the behavior and all these things. And the parents got upset about that. They didn't like how it was going with this administrator, so they went to the school board, and the school board decided that, you know what, the parents were right. And the school board decided that they were going to get different administration that would more align with the values and the experiences of this particular student. We're going to, what's the word? Cooperate's not the word. We're going to collaborate. The word is not coming to me with this student, okay? All right, now before I forget to say this, I totally just made this up. I imagine you can tell this, but in today's world, one, you can make up and say whatever you want, and some people will believe it as true. And two, crazier things have happened. Okay, crazier things have happened. So why am I talking about this? Because I feel this was like the best strange illustration I could come up with to exhibit what is going on in the world around us. It's really, where we get our information is so important. So yeah, I know a lot of you are with me here, but here's what I'm trying to make today's point of. Sorry, sometimes this is a struggle. So in the name of love, okay? So let's say the student in this class, his name was Jimmy. In the name of being a good human and being cooperative and being kind and, wanting Jimmy to do well in school and all of these things, well, if the color red bothers him, then yeah, we want him to be able to focus. We want him to be able to learn. Okay, so sure, I will not wear red so that it doesn't bother you. And then what else did I talk about? Food, no cookies and candy. So, okay, right, we don't want you to have to look at our cookies and candy and be sad that you can't eat what we're eating. So, okay. So I will cooperate again and do what's best for you in the name of being kind, in the name of love, in the name of being a good person. I'm going to do what you asked. And that is what is going on in our world. I was just listening to some things about, again, how important this election is, probably more important than any other election in the history of our country. And that we have a serious battle of good versus evil going on. So I hope you're listening to different perspectives on news and different things so that you can sort through what you believe is going on. But this is so, so important. But what is going on is that in the name of love, in the name of being a good human, in the name of being kind and polite and Christian and whatever, you need to do X, or you're a bad person. You're a bad person. You need to do this because you're a good person. Well, and then we add on top of this that the side, in my opinion, that is fighting for you and me, for people, the side that cares about people, the side that cares about rights, the side that cares about justice, the side that cares about taking care of our people, the side that cares about welcoming people, but doing it in a way that we can like take care of them and help, do it the right way. Like, then we have a person that a lot of people are like, I just can't vote for that. I just can't handle the imperfections and the lack of finesse and the rude things that may come out sometimes. And so we have a lot of people who I think know what's going on, but then they're like, I can't vote for that person. Friends, I've been listening to some good sermons. I need to find the names of these people. I can't find it very fast. These sermons, these pastors who are standing up and talking. Do you want to know? One of the reasons, okay, back in the day, history lesson, back in the day, it was normal for pastors to preach on presidential candidates. There was a pastor that I was watching. He held up 2 volumes, a 2-book set of presidential sermons from back in the day, because that's what they did. Their faith, Christianity, religion, their faith, their belief in God, it permeated their whole life. It permeated everything. Presidents were talking about Bibles being the best school book in the world. They wanted Congress approve the first printing of the Bible because they wanted everyone to have it, because they knew those were the principles that they needed their people to live by to make this democracy thing work. Presidential sermons were normal. Around, I think it was 1954, they made it to where, is it 501c3? I don't know, these nonprofit groups, whatever they're classified as, you're not allowed to take a political stance on anything, or you will lose your tax exempt status. So since then, people have apparently felt that much more so, that we do not talk about any of these political things, where we labeled it as political, so we're no longer allowed to talk about it, right? It's not good manners to talk about that. No, this is values. This is what it means to be an American. This is what it means to raise a family and have laws where I'm allowed to decide what happens to my child until they turn 18, that like I am the sole person who gets to make those decisions. Friends, our world it's gotten out of control. It's not political. It's American. It's moral. We must talk about these things. So anyway, a lot of people in churches and places have bowed out of talking about the issues because it can be deemed political. But what about when the politics are biblical and we won't even talk about them in our churches? What a struggle. So yes, Lighthouse Church is the one. Lighthouse Church How to Vote Like Jesus. I think his name is Josh something Roverton. I don't know. That one is very good. One that is very similar but presented in a probably more offensive way for a lot of people was Generations Church, Who Would Jesus Vote For? There are some others out there, but people are talking about these things. If we have any believers watching along who just aren't quite sure what you're going to do, or people who care about what kind of world your kids are going to live in, whether you get to make the decisions for your children. Literally, this has gotten serious when schools and governments are allowed to make decisions for our children while they are still minors. And like, you're not endangering their lives. Like, it's not like an abuse situation. It's not that you don't have food in your house. It's nothing like that. We are in a situation and we have to decide what, yeah, look through the information, figure out what we want this world to look like. We have to care enough to dig through the information to try and figure out what's the truth. We have to care enough to get our friends to care, because we have been lazy for too long, and now we are looking at the results of that. So, friends, we're going to keep praying, because our God is going to take care of us no matter what, no matter who gets elected. And pray about what you can do, what your role is. I told God I would just like, okay, I'll talk, I'll do this if you just give me the words. Today has been a little bit of a struggle. That's what I got. Bye, everybody.